Well, today we're doing something with wood, believe it or not, but only because I'm cutting up rotten wood for firewood. Some old rotten 2x6s. And this blade here, it got dull. I filed it and it got dull. Someone gave me this little circular saw. I mean, it's old. It's probably 1960s, maybe 70s, maybe early 70s. This is the style they made back then. It's a really nice little saw. It's got lots of power, runs good. All around, it's a very nice saw. So I decided I'm going to remove this bolt. I'm going to change this blade. But you see how it comes back a little slow? I think I'm going to clean up that pivot point where that is and try and maybe put some light oil on it or something. I'm not sure what I should use with wood. Maybe graphite. I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with this saw. So I don't know if he was going to throw it out, but he gave it to me. He said, if you want it, you can have it. I said, okay. And my other one burnt out, kind of burnt out. I think that's 1/2 inch. That seems to fit. I don't think it's metric. That's not even tight. I did take that off in the past, and I filed it on the workbench. It has been apart. Some sort of rubber washer, plastic or rubber. Maybe somebody added that. And yeah, that springs works good. It's pretty tight. Now that pivot point, that looks pretty small. That is not a standard size. That's not going to fit that blade. Okay, so there's problem number one. I'm think I'm going to remove this. I might have to make a little bushing or something for the blade, because that hole is way bigger on the new blade. Okay. Yeah, that's probably 1/2 inch. And this one here, it's like way bigger. 625. Yeah. I don't know, I might just one of two things. I might just eyeball it and center it on there. Maybe I'll take a piece of copper wire and wrap it around there as a bushing. I don't really want to waste my time making a bushing for something I'm just going to use to cut firewood. But I'm going to take these 3, I think there's 3 screws there. Yeah. There's a third one. 3 Phillips. We'll get this apart, clean it all up really good. Maybe we will put graphite in there. I think I have some. And, oh, look at that. There's the motors right there. That's the motor right there. Little fan. I've never seen that before. That gearbox right behind this. That's pretty cool. If I took some steel wool, I could probably clean this right up. This is nice chrome. Okay, let's get it apart. We'll take those 3 screws out to start with. I think after 50 years it deserves a good cleanup and a lube job. Maybe there was grease in there, I don't know. That's pretty clean. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get that spring back on. I think I'll take the vacuum and just vacuum everything out. I got everything clean. It took me like 5-10 minutes. Even this spring was like caked with dirt, and it wouldn't even stretch out in some spots because it was so filthy. Not much rust. It's more like dried grease and sawdust mixed together. And then these, I found 2 of these. At first it was one, and the other one was stuck on there so good that I couldn't tell it was there. So, and there was definitely grease in there. So what I'm going to do, I got my jar of grease here. We're going to just put a little tiny bit of grease, and then this thing here turned out just like new. I can see my reflection in there. I could go even further with this, but that's going to be all it's going to get. But I'm telling you, that's a really good quality tool, you know. I said I'd take this thing thinking, oh, it'll be good for cutting firewood and stuff. I'm going to try and get that little, see that little bit right there? That's the kind of thing that's messing this thing up. So I think I'll go over both of these with some steel wool. And then this thing here turned out really good. Yeah, this was supposed to be a short format video, but it's going to end up being a long one in the vertical position. It's like, sorry about that, but you don't know when you start. It's got a nice quality brass bushing in there. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm not taking this apart any further. It seems to work okay. So we'll dab some grease. The tricky part will be getting that spring back in where it goes. And because I steel wooled all this, I think it goes in this hole, but I'll find out. And the whole reason why I'm doing this is for this thing here, this guard to work better. It was kind of slow on the return. It worked, but it was a little bit on the slow side for what I like. And I think it's because of all this 50-year-old grease. So we'll put it back together and see how it works. Okay, so there was a lot of dried grease on this, and I really worked at getting it off there. So I did put a little on there, and that's all I put in there, a little tiny bit, and 3 drops of oil just to kind of thin that grease out a little. You know, I think it's kind of shielded enough that I don't think too much sawdust will get in there. Yeah, anything's better than what it was. So we just gotta figure out next what we're going to do with those bushings. I think I'm going to clean these screws because they're filthy dirty in there, so we'll do that. That works amazing compared to what it was. I should have had it before. It was coming back like this. It was working, but not like that. So I cleaned these up. They had some dried grease on them too. And I don't remember which way this goes, but I don't think it really matters. I think this polished side goes out like that, but anyway. And then we got these 2 plastic washers. I gotta clean them up a little bit more. Yeah. And somewhere in here is the nut. Bolt, little bolt. We'll wire brush that too. And this, I'm gonna have to find a really small bushing or a wire or something, because there's a lot of. Let's see. Okay, so I took that little 1/4-inch socket and I bent a key piece of copper around there, which should, hopefully that'll work. I gotta cut it just the right length. I think that'll work. Yeah, it's plastic, so that should have enough give. I cleaned these up. So you just gotta tighten this bolt. So there it is, Powerhouse, McGraw, Edison, Canada, Oakville, Ontario. This side needs a good cleaning up, but that'll be another day. That's the original cord. It's got a couple of little nicks there, but not too bad. It works perfect. I don't think it was used very much. If it's got the original cord and it's 50, 60 years old, it couldn't have been used very much. So that's it for this video. I hope I'll clean it up some more. Maybe you'll see it in the future sometime. But yeah, nothing wrong with these old tools. There's no plastic at all, except for those two little washers we saw. Thanks for watching.